Welcome to episode 37 of Meet the GIMP. My name is Rolf Steinert and I'm recording this in Bremen, northern Germany. I have been to Berlin for 4 days in the last week, and I didn't take my real camera, my Nikon, with me because I wanted to see the city and to do a lot of things in the city instead of running around or better walking slowly around and looking for stuff to take images from. And so I took only a small point-and-shoot camera with me. And you see here some of the output, or better said, all of the output of these days. You see, I just clicked on some stuff and never really thought about good composition and details and what to do. Well, I did with some shots, but mostly if I saw something interesting and thought about taking pictures, I just clicked. And these images are not worth a lot of post-processing. They are just, memories. And so I've set myself a limit of 2 minutes post-processing time at maximum. What can you do in 2 minutes? And this is the topic of this show: to get quick and dirty editing of your images. I'll cover some basic tools for that and stuff that I think is really easy to understand and well suited also for beginners. First, I thought to make these 2 minutes really with a stopwatch and so on, but I found out that I can't post-process against the time, against the clock, and then talk some sensible stuff to this. But I think I stayed under 2 minutes with each post-processing you'll see now, if I hadn't talked and told what to do. So let's look at the images and speed quick and dirty post-processing. So what's the problem with this image? First, this was our problem. There was a strike in Berlin with all the subway and trams and buses, and so we had to walk all the time. Luckily, our flat was near the town center, near Alexanderplatz, so it wasn't too bad. I want to have this writings here, these letters, to pop out. And I want to keep the sky. So I'm now doubling this layer, and I choose the curves tool. And now I'm looking only at this area here, not at the rest. I pull the curve up to get it lighter. This looks quite good, and now I'm pulling the black point further up to get the black here really black. I think this should work out. Now I want to get the only the writing here, the sign, into the bottom image. So I'm choosing a layer mask, and I'm choosing a black layer mask filled with black. Now I'm back onto my old image. I'm checking that I'm working on the layer mask. It's has a white border. Now I take, I have the choice. I can select this. I take a paint tool here and select white as my foreground color. It is. I select a circle, very small circle. Let's enlarge this circle. This is okay. And now I'm painting here on the layer mask, and perhaps I should zoom a bit in. This is better. I think the strike is still on. I haven't heard anything other in the radio. It was a real showstopper for some of our plans. So, finished. You can see the keys I press here in my key indicator. Oh, this looks way better. Perhaps I think I'm still in my 2 minutes window, and if not, I define this as still being in the 2 minutes window. I get the curves tool. No, I get double this another time and select overlay mode and go down a bit with the opacity to get a little bit more pop into the background. Better than this here? Well, a bit. Okay, now I'm ready to save this image. I'm working on copies here, so I can just press save or press Ctrl S, and of course I don't want to save all these layers here, and I'm saving this in a JPEG. For getting this to the web, there's this final step. I go to Image, Resize, Scale the image, and I'm scaling this down to 600 in width. And now I have to sharpen this a bit. Filters, Enhance, Sharpen. I could use the unsharp mask, but this is just for making a quick change. Checking for artifacts. This is there's a light seam here around, a halo. Okay. Now I'm saving this as a copy. For small and save. And I'm finished with this image. Two things to remember. If you want to change one part of the image and keep all the rest intact, just make a copy of the layer and do your changes you want to do, and then put a layer mask on. Black hides the image and white reveals the stuff that's in there. Second thing, if you just put a second layer over it in overlay mode, you will pop a little bit the image, have a better contrast and a little bit better colors. And these are two tricks to get a very fast edit. This is an image I shot approaching the Potsdamer Platz. And you see at least two problems here. First, I cut off the feet of these people. Would have been nice to have them in there. But I found it's terribly difficult to, for me, to make images with the point-and-shoot camera. It's a fully different way to take pictures. And the second problem is these falling lines. These buildings are falling into the image because I held the camera not level but upwards. It's perfectly normal. Everything is okay with this. It's only contrary to our viewing that we do all the time. If you look upwards, you see that these lines are falling into the image, but normally your eye does, no, your eye, not your eye, your brain does some corrections about that. And well, there is a way to correct this, and it's fairly easy. It's this here, the perspective tool. Before I have to set some options, check some options. I use corrective backward, and I select the grid as preview. I can select an outline or the image, but I select the grid. And now I'm just clicking into the image. I get this info window here with not so helpful information. Just pulling it out of the way. And now I have this grid here, and all I have to do is align these grid lines with the verticals in the image. These grid lines will be vertical in the output image or horizontal in the output image. And this top line will be the top of the image. The image will be in the old format. And so I'm just pulling this over here. It's easy to overdo, very easy to overdo, and so I'm well, I have to check that. Now I'm pulling this a bit down because you always, after the transformation, this looks always a bit pressed together. So let's check here. This is fairly okay. This is okay here. Okay, now I press transform, and we have to wait, but I think we're still on the 2 minutes. And here it is. Now you see a second problem here. This lens is not the best, and so I have here a cushion distortion, and I can change that. No, it's not cushion, it's barrel distortion. I can't change that in 2 minutes. So I go to my crop tool, and I want to crop this side building out and leave only this in there. Well, it looks a bit like a square. Let's change this to fixed aspect ratio, and 1 by 1 it's still there. Now I have a square crop, keeping the people in there. I think this crop should work. Just click on it. Here it is. And because I have no stopwatch, just a little bit of curves tool for this, getting the highlights a little bit more livid and a little bit more contrast into that. That's it. Okay, this image is finished too. Let's do this one next. This is the view out of a flat, and we were in a similar Plattenbau, as they have been called. We have been staying in a similar high-rise like this one here, 10 stories high, and a lift for each of these houses, no, 2 lifts for each of these houses, but only stopping at 1st, 3rd, 6th and 9th story. And if you happen to live in 10 or 8 or 7 or so, you have to walk up or down the stairs for your last part of the journey, up or down. So what's to do with this one? As with a lot of shots, I have tilted the camera, and here the rotate tool comes into work here, and I zoom into the image by pressing 1, and here I look for a good vertical in the area in the middle of the image. I check corrective backwards rotation. I check here cubic interpolation, and as preview I select the grid. Now I click into the image, get again my grid lines, and now I align these lines with the vertical structures of the house, and I think this is it. I have this little window here open, 2.9 degrees, and I click on rotate and wait for the final result. Here it is. Well, it looks better. You see here again I have plenty of distortion, and perhaps I should look into correction of that, but now I'm just cropping this here a little bit. I think this is okay. Let's check if the tower is... oh no! I haven't rotated enough. Well, yes, I haven't rotated enough, or I haven't rotated on the right spot. Let's do this again. I go back, Control Z, Control Z. Oh, here's a mistake. In the key showing here, this should be a Z. No idea. Ah, yes, I'm using a German keyboard here, and this is looking for American keys, I think. So again, the rotate tool. Now I'm going over my 2 minutes, but well, can't be helped. So rotate tool. These settings are still okay, and now I'm just setting the center of the image into this TV tower here, and well, not the center of the image, but the center of rotation into the TV tower. And now I'm just aligning this to the TV tower. The TV tower is the dominant part of the image, and so if that isn't straight, the image feels unstraight, skewed. Okay, let's look now. Well, this is better. And now I take the crop tool and choose a crop with not too much negative space in it, wasted space, but enough that you see this little bit desolation there, isolation. Click. Now a last thing, perhaps a little bit of curves, getting a little bit more contrast into the image. This is okay. Now I'm finished with this image. Oh, by the way, we had this weather here for about half an hour or so. All the other time it was really raining and stormy and really ugly, but it was fun. I shot this one directly at the Alexanderplatz. That's a place next to the old town center, and it has been the center of East Berlin. This TV tower is standing there, and a lot of shops are there. And around this place are houses, high-rises again, downstairs shops, and upstairs flats. This image should be in portrait mode. My camera isn't made for portrait mode, and so I have to change this here. I go to Image, Transform, and Rotate 90 degree anti-clockwise. Now I have my image rotated. The difference to rotation and then setting 90 degree is that this is without loss in quality, especially important with JPEG images. And now let's get a little bit more contrast into this, and I use for that the Curves tool. You can use the Levels tool or others, but I think For me, the Curves tool is best, most flexible. Just put a slight S-curve on it, and I think we are done. Saving, and then the next one. I think I'll stop here. I like this shot, but the distortion of the lens gets on my nerves. It's really no fun. I didn't knew it was that bad. Okay, I'll look into that and be assured if I find a solution. I think PT Lens can do such stuff. Then I'll keep you updated and make a show about it. To put it all together, for quick editing of your images, you need some basic tools. First, the Rotate tool. Use the corrective mode and the grid as preview, and align the grid with the verticals or horizontals. Then, for tilting lines, you need the Perspective tool. Again, use the corrective mode and the grid, and align the grid with these verticals or horizontals. It's a very powerful tool, easily to be overdone. For correcting the contrast and the lightness of an image, select the Curves tool and apply an S-curve. It's helpful in most cases, or in some cases, if you want a softer image, an inverted S-curve. Now you have here real fog outside. Just play around a little bit with that. And check out the image transform menu, where you can rotate the image and scale the output size. Finally, one filter is important for quick editing, and this is Sharpen. Enhance, Sharpen. After applying a lot of tools, as for example rotating, or this transformation tool, perspective tool, or resizing, the image will get softer, and with sharpening you can, well, redo that, heal that. Next thing, get familiar with the layers. Double a layer, and for example check out what happens if you use the overlay mode or other modes. There's a lot to explore, and I'll cover these in some time. You see, every time I change the layer mode, I get a fully different image. And if you want to change only a part of the image, add a layer mask and fill the stuff you want to see in the image with white, and the stuff you don't want to see in the image with black. Gray gives in between. It's partly visible, it's transparent. And I think this was it for this week, and I hope to see you again next week for show number 38. Goodbye.
photocastnetwork.com, your photography resource in the podosphere. photocastnetwork.com